You know, testing motorcycles is a lot of fun, but I've got to say, you know, testing suspension is something that always really intrigues me, because I think, you know, for a given spend or a given amount of effort to put into a bike, you can get probably the biggest relative improvements, or customising it to suit you. So, yeah, it's really good to have the opportunity to test these WP Xplor Pro 6500 cartridge forks. You know, so I want to say that to start with, I guess, you know, the bikes we're testing, it's great to have a standard, you know, EC350F here as well, so we can get, you know, go back to back. It always makes it a lot easier when you're riding together and literally swapping seat to seat to get a real feeling for the differences between the two. So, so like I say, I think it, you know, you're probably likely to feel it a lot more on this bike, because we've gone back to 4.6s for the 2022 models now. But this is not a spring conversion, so, you know, and it's effectively taken from an open cartridge to a closed cartridge, pressurised system. You know, the theory is obviously that it doesn't fade, you know, you get no cavitation in your oil. But look, from a straight performance point of view, I think it was interesting. You get on the thing and straight away, I just went up and down here in a paddock a few times. First thing I noticed, you know, front brakes were exactly the same. I could actually get a stoppie on this thing because the fork was diving, the standard bike, standard fork. So I would actually get a little stoppie, not that I'm the greatest stoppie guy in the world. This bike, again, just in a paddock, didn't do that. You know, I got it wheel off the ground a couple of times just by virtue of that, you know, poise in the front end. So I guess the way that translates on the trail is you just, you know, it just gives you that confidence the entire time. So if you're trail riding, you know, that's a really good package for trail ride, but, you know, an open cartridge fork by its very design has kind of like limitations in terms of what it can cope with, in terms of, you know, when you start getting faster riders and big hits. You know, so yeah, just trail riding around in the bush, really good on the scrabbly stuff and the loose rocks. Single trail, you know, where it sort of sits down its nose and can steer really nicely. But as soon as you come to something like, you know, a big bloody erosion mound that you didn't see, or a G-out, or a couple of big mud holes that we didn't see today, and you're not prepared for it, you know, just you go in on that thing wincing, you go in on this thing, you're like, it just gives you that confidence to sort of slam stuff. So, you know, I think what I found also when we tested that more expensive Xplor Pro fork, you know, it's not just the fact that the bump absorption is smoother and more capable and more, you know, and gives you the confidence that it's not going to bottom and speed you off the track. It's also the fact that it keeps the front wheel in contact with the ground, so when you're going down the hill, chassis stays poised, geometry great. You know, when you're on an off-camber grass track corner, you know, you're not chasing the front end, it just, you know, it just does everything right, it tracks a lot better. So, you know, when you think about it, I mean, you know, the fork sort of sets the tone for how a motorcycle is going to respond to any particular obstacle or bump, because if they don't get it right, chances are your shock's not going to, you know, not going to do the right thing and process that obstacle or bump well. So, you know, from my understanding, best part of $2,000, you know, it's a lot cheaper than I think the $5,500 for the Xplor Pro was, or the cone valves, as a lot of people used to call them. That's a lot of money, you know. My feeling is you get three quarters of the performance gain with this sort of $2,000 option with a 6500 cartridge, you know, for quite a substantial less cost. So kind of chalk and cheese actually, to be fair, as soon as you start pushing the thing in some more gnarly conditions. So I think it's very easy to endorse the thing. It then just simply comes down to a matter of you know, whether you're prepared to spend the money. But certainly putting a stepping stone of $2,000 in there between standard bike and a $5,500 Xplor Pro fork, I think is a pretty clever thing from WP. And well, to be fair, they had to do it. You know, I think Kyoba came in and made a conversion kit for WP too, so it sort of rushed them to market it with a little bit. But I think they've done a bloody good job. And you know, I know the bloke standing behind the camera fitted the thing too. So for anyone with reasonable mechanical nous, I think can fit the thing. That's a pretty cool thing as well.